Hello again, thanks for joining. So the big question today is who made these wagons? These four wagons I think are in HOE scale. They're all very similar, but one thing that is the same is that it doesn't have any maker's mark underneath any of these wagons, so I've no idea who made these, but they all look quite interesting, so in this video we'll be taking a closer look at each of them. So just picked at random is this gondola wagon. The mark in here says STLB. One thing's for sure though, this model is extremely light, and it's got some nice detail on it and some really bad detail as well. If we start at this end of the wagon, you can see that there is a little slot here which is holding the wagon together. It's part of holding the chassis to the main body. The main body is moulded in this lovely brown colour. It's got some nice rivet detail on the brackets on the corner and these nice ribs here, and a good representation of planking, but no wood grain on it. Nothing at all on the buffer beam, and we have these couplings, which is the same on all of these wagons. Now these do look like Lilliput couplings that they fit to narrow gauge models, but it doesn't say Lilliput underneath these wagons, so I'm not quite sure. Let's have a look down the side of this wagon. What we've got is holes at the top here. I think that's maybe for a tarpaulin tie down, and again these nice brackets with these rivets on them. They look really quite good, and there's a nice amount of relief on the moulding with them. The printing on it is not too bad. It's a little bit blurry around the edges there, but you can see the number no problem at all, and these additional details here. At this point there's a door which has been modelled in, and there's some nice rivet detail there as well. Not much else to look at down the length of this wagon, but it does look pretty good. This one is suffering from a little bit of damage here on this bracing part, and that's because this is quite fragile, but I've managed to push it back together there. I think I'll just put a bit of glue on there and fix that. At this end of the wagon there is a little platform with this railing here and a brake wheel. No detail on the platform base itself, and also you can see inside the wagon there is no detail at all in the moulding, and just these two really ugly clips on each end of the moulding holding it together. So this is ripe for putting in a load, which would really improve the looks of this wagon. The lower part of the main moulding has this black painted across here. It's not done too well. You can see some of the brown showing through there. It definitely needs a bit of paint in order to improve that, and that is also evident down here on this bracing part. So a little bit of touch up would really go a long way on this model. Looking underneath, no real big detail here. There is a representation of bracing, but it's really quite poorly done, and these bogies aren't the best either, but the wheels are made of metal and they're quite free rolling as well, and these bogies are held on with these studs onto the chassis. Quite an interesting wagon, this gondola. Let's have a look at the other one. No difference on this one. It suffers from the same kind of problems as the one we've just looked at, and it's identical apart from it being a darker brown colour and it having OBB printed here. So this is obviously an Austrian railway wagon. Apart from that, it's exactly the same. So let's move on to one of the box cars. So this one here has DR for Deutsche Reichsbahn. Straight away, this is a much heavier model. As we look at this end of the wagon, it's got some nice steps moulded into the main piece of plastic here, and some details including this little pipework. And the buffer beam has got some rivet detail moulded in there as well. Looking down the side then, we've got a bit more to look at here in terms of printing. There's some numbers down on the chassis here, the running number as well, which is repeated up here on the body, and also some additional printing as well. And this is actually done really well. It's almost like this has been made by a different manufacturer, and also the painting of the chassis is much better here. At this end of the wagon, some more steps, and we have this additional brake wheel which has been added in here as an extra part. Up on the roof we've got this line running the length of the roof. I think that's actually been added in by the previous owner, and it looks as though possibly something was moulded in there and have been taken off, and these have been added in instead, which actually look like aftermarket parts. Here you can see that these bogies are held on with screws on this one rather than studs, but they are the same kind of bogie with not much detail, and we have the same kind of wheels as well. Also, the couplings are the same as the gondola wagons. So let's have a look at the final box car. So this one also has the STLB logo up here and some printing of the number and some other details here. This is back to being not very good printing, and this is much lighter than the previous box car. However, where this one definitely benefits from is detail on the main moulding, where we've got these rivets on these brackets and some nice grille effects here for these windows. And then the door in the middle has some really nice detail on the wheels here and this track. Then as we get down to this end of the wagon, we've got a little platform as well with an overhang on the roof. This has got the same moulding as the gondola with these railings and this brake wheel, and again no details at all on this platform. And what I forgot to mention on the gondolas, and it's evident here as well, is that it has these really nice little steps here just at the platform. The roof on this one is completely plain, absolutely nothing, but it does have a little bit of a moulding mark here in the middle, and underneath it is the same chassis as the gondola, the same bracing here, and you can see the colour bleeding here. This part here where you're looking down upon it, you can see that it has also that problem, so some more black touch-up paint on this one would go a long way as well. Same bogies with studs and same wheels as well, and also the same couplings. So it looks as though I've got 3 of the same manufacturer and 1 of a different manufacturer. But let's see what each of these weighs. So the gondola weighs 25 grams. The heavier of the 2 boxcars weighs 56 grams. And finally, the grey boxcar weighs 39 grams. So what we have here is an interesting collection of narrow gauge wagons, and all of these have potential to be improved. The obvious thing on the 2 gondolas and the grey boxcar is to touch up the paint in the black area. That would really improve these models, and I think they also could benefit from a little weight as well. That would be easy for the gondolas. If you put a load in there, you could put the weight underneath it. The boxcar, not so much. You'd have to take it apart and put something inside, but I think that would certainly improve these wagons and keep them on the track. The best one out of the bunch here is definitely the brown boxcar, although I think there's been modifications to the roof. However, the printing on it is really good, and it's a really neat looking model as well. So if you're watching this and saying, oh, I know exactly what these models are, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know. I do like narrow gauge wagons. They look so cool. So I hope you've enjoyed having a look at these models as much as I have. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps this channel grow. I'll put these on the turntable so you can see all the way around. But that's it for today. Thanks for watching. See ya.